On a day like this, Sharon, is it sad for you or is it celebratory? Because your dad's not here. So how do you feel on a day like this?
Oh, I feel celebratory. It's a day we're honoring my dad and his accomplishments, but more importantly, today we were able to connect it with the business summit, Major League Baseball business summit, and it just felt very positive and upbeat, and it was really about the future and not about the past.
Did your dad ever talk to you, or obviously talk to your mom, and was it passed down to you about how difficult that was at the beginning when he did break the color barrier?
He didn't focus on that at all. I didn't actually get serious with him and have a serious discussion until I was in college. But, that really wasn't the focus of how difficult it wasn't what was on his mind. It was more helping me to understand that period and how he felt. He was a very strong man, and, his life had been difficult, always been difficult, so I don't think he really focused on that.
Sharon, do you get a sense talking to Major League Baseball players that they fully understand what your dad went through?
It's been amazing. I've been with baseball working with the commissioner's office now for the past 18 years. So I've seen the growth and understanding amongst the players and the coaches, and many of them have been out on the visiting kids in schools with me. So they have growing respect for my father. But I'll tell you, the number 42, the movie 42.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. So many players and coaches have come up to me and said, I thought I understood it, but I didn't really understand it until I saw 42. So, it's an ongoing process. But yes, I do feel that they have respect for the past and now can kind of understand how it has impacted their lives.
Sharon, obviously we know what your dad went through, the books we've read, and seeing 42. But sometimes I wonder if your mom is underrepresented in that because she probably went through more. She's sitting in the stands. She's hearing firsthand what people are saying to your dad on the field. Does your mom ever talk about this?
No, not very much either. I think, she feels that, he was the one out there by himself on the field, and she was in a support role and happy that she could be there so they could kind of work it through together. So it was a partnership, and this was part of that partnership, and it's only a short period of their lives, so their life was much more complex and satisfying, and so that period was only one period in their lives. So she does not look back that often.
Were you able to tell, or your mom able to tell, the physical toll it took on your dad to go through all that?
My dad had a very serious case of diabetes and heart disease, and so stress is certainly a factor in chronic disease. So I can't say it didn't have any effect on his overall health, but it wasn't until after he stopped playing that the diabetes and heart disease really came forward, because while he was playing it was kind of masked by the amount of activity he was doing.
Now, your dad passed away at a very young age of 53 in 1972. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, Sharon, people talk about him breaking the color barrier, but we opened the show talking about this. He had as much to do with civil rights progress in this country as any civil rights leader. It wasn't just about sports. By the time he was an older gentleman, and he wasn't even that old when he passed, but did he realize the sweeping change that he helped enact in this country?
Well, I think he was always, as you said, when he retired from baseball after the 1956 season, he jumped right into certainly working for Chuck Fullnuts, but he was also out there raising money for the NAACP and going on marches and in a support role and in helping to raise money for the movement. So he felt really honored, I think, and surprised that he was still having an impact on people's lives after he'd retired from baseball. He was a humble man. He was surprised if he would get a standing ovation, or surprised when the Little Rock Nine called him on the phone and said they called him for advice and inspiration.
And loyal, from what we could tell, too, because I guess he could have extended his career with the New York Giants. He couldn't do it, right?
No, his loyalty was to the Dodgers.
Right.
And he was at the end of his playing days, and he knew it. He'd been having more and more difficult time getting ready for spring training. So I think he knew he was at the end of his playing days, but he wanted to go out as a Dodger. So he said, "Yeah, I'll give it all I can," when they called and said he's being traded, but to his plans for retirement.
Now, Sharon, one of the things that we've been talking about a lot on the show, and we will continue to talk about, is the paucity of African-American players in baseball right now. It's hovering around 8%. And I know that you are working as an educational programming consultant with Major League Baseball. And Bud Selig has certainly put this at the top of his priority list. Do you have a reason why the numbers have dropped so low?
I think we lost her.
I think we lost Sharon.
I can't imagine that Major League Baseball should feel guilty about it.
No,
I don't think they're doing anything wrong. But I do admire the fact that they are still trying to do more of it. That Bud Selig and whoever ends up taking his place as commissioner next year are going to have this pretty high on their priority list. I just don't know how you fix it.
I don't know it either. That's where it gets frustrating. I'm just not sure that there's a way. Maybe things in society are cyclical, and maybe baseball becomes more interesting to kids in the inner city. I don't know how that's done. I don't know if it has to be an initiative or it's something that's just natural. But it's a concern. It's a concern. It really is. So I think we have Sharon back. Sharon, before we let you go, what I was asking is that there's such a paucity of African-American kids playing Major League Baseball now. It hovers around 8%. Do you have any idea why this number has dropped to such a low number?
They've done, numerous studies on it, and I think what the commissioner and the office is focused on is long-term growth, and we're seeing the growth in youth through our RBI program. We're seeing our numbers go higher, and we're also setting up more and more academies. So I think that they're looking at the long-term plan and hoping to keep the numbers where they are and then grow them over years.
But you are satisfied with what Major League Baseball is doing to change it?
We're all worried. We're all concerned about it. It's shared by everyone in baseball, certainly in my family. So we have to see if these new efforts and these continuing efforts will increase those numbers.
Sharon, we will see you tomorrow. They're going to have the ceremonies between, I think, before the night game, and the Yankees and the Cubs are going to wear number 42 in the second game of the doubleheader. So that's a good thing that they'll do it again tomorrow.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. And also celebrating Nelson Mandela. It was wonderful to meet his family today.